My 29M wife Ollie, 27F, and I have been together for 6 years and married for 3. We met in college, and at first, my mom, who was always a Psalm, was worried that my wife wouldn't make a good housewife. However, as the years went on, she saw how my Ollie and I made a beautiful partnership. She saw how we supported each other through college/grad school, job hunting, financial issues, health problems, and more. She saw how I would pick up the slack when Ollie was busy and how Ollie did the same for me. We also split our chores at home. My mom now absolutely adores her. Since I only have brothers, and I'm the only married one, she thinks of her as the daughter she never had. Now on to the issue. This past Monday, I was just having a terrible day. Those where everything goes wrong. I got a flat tire on my way to work, was late to work, my boss yelled at me, I dropped my lunch and left my wallet at home. It was just an awful day. I got home and was starving. Ollie was cooking dinner. She seemed to have been anxious because when she starts talking a lot and really fast, which I normally find sweet and endearing, but not that day. So she starts going on and on about her day. I just wanted her to get done with dinner. So, out of nowhere, I just yelled, "Do you ever just shut up? Boy, was Mom ever right?" She asks right about what. Instead of keeping my mouth shut, I tell her about my mom's concerns about her not making a good housewife. Her eyes welled up with tears, and she stopped talking, finished cooking dinner, and went straight to the shower and then bed. Now, she wakes up before me and leaves breakfast and lunch ready, comes home and leaves dinner ready, and goes straight to shower and bed. She doesn't want to talk or watch TV or anything. If I ask or say anything, she gives me 1 or 2 word responses. She doesn't even look angry at me, just defeated. I don't know how to fix this. I feel like flowers and chocolates won't cut it here. Plus, I don't even know why I said that because my mom doesn't even have those concerns anymore. Please help. Interesting update, April 1st, 2022. I first want to clarify, answer some questions from the first post. Pregnancy Ollie is not pregnant. Before getting married, we decided to wait until our careers were established for 2 years before we started trying for a baby. That would be next year. We are both very careful. Plus, I asked, and she said she wasn't. Her doing all the chores, she does not do all the chores. Before we moved in together, we made a list of all the chores that needed to be done. Then we flipped a coin and chose the chore we wanted, then we alternated on choosing the rest of them. She chose the first one, which was cooking. She cooks, and I clean the kitchen. She grocery shops, and I put the groceries away, and so on. So, even with the fight, she kept doing her chores, and I kept doing mine. Although I would fully understand if she stopped doing them altogether. Me apologizing, I did try to apologize multiple times, but she said she didn't want to hear it. I just wanted to give her space, but should have tried harder. I read every single comment and private message. It was hard, but I asked for advice. I 1000% got what I deserved. Now, onto what I've done to begin fixing this mess I've made. As some of you suggested, I wrote a heartfelt letter explaining myself and sincerely apologizing and begging her to speak to me whenever she felt comfortable. She said she would go to the guest room, and I said no, that I would go there because this fight was entirely my fault and would only return if, when she allowed me / felt comfortable. I called my mom and let her know what I did. She rightfully tore me a new one. Then came by the next day with some gifts for Ollie. She apologized for ever feeling that way and assured her that she didn't feel that way now, that she truly loves her like a daughter. They spoke more, but I wasn't privy to that conversation. As some of you suggested, I made an appointment with a counselor so I can learn how to properly deal with my anger and not lash out at innocent people. On Reddit's suggestion as well, I printed out a list of marriage counselors in the area who accept our health insurance. I gave her the list and said that if she's willing to go with me, all she has to do is choose a name, and I'll do all the legwork. She said she's willing to go, and she chose a name. She works in the mental health field and chose someone who is reputable in our area. She already sees her own therapist and is working through this with her, I assume. I was able to talk to her, and she said she was really hurt by what I said. That she was questioning what my family, especially my mom, and what I thought of her as a wife and a person. Like all the memories with my family are tainted now. Were they pretending? Was it just my mom? What are they saying behind her back during special occasions? If we have kids, will they think she's a bad mom, too? When my mom helps her with something, is it to be nice or because she thinks she's not capable? That she was angry, I didn't trust her with those concerns earlier in the relationship, so she could either address them with my mom or even see what I thought as well, because she might have made a different choice about marrying into a family that had doubts about her. She also said that she was already anxious about a hard day at work. She works in the mental health field, which can be stressful, and I yelled out of nowhere. She told me that if I had just communicated to her that I had a bad day and was hungry, she would have just made me a snack and told me to chill while dinner was ready, but instead I just lashed out. Or if I had texted her earlier, she would have ordered me lunch or given me her card number so I could order something for myself. Also said it was about teaching me a lesson about what a quiet housewife looks like, and that it's obviously not something I want. And that if it is, she's obviously not someone I'm going to get it from. So, to make a choice about what I want, I told her I just want to be with her. I don't want a housewife. I want her as my partner for the rest of our lives. I just felt like a complete ass because I just had to communicate, and she would have been there for me. I had no right to hurt her. She was a partner, and I was a dick. As you guys also suggested, I have been taking over her chores as well as I can because my cooking is definitely not as good as hers, and spoiling her with her favorite things and foods. I'm spoiling her even more than she spoils me, since she loves giving little just because / thinking of you gifts and doing sweet things to make my life easier. I've also been doing things like drawing baths, serving her favorite juice she doesn't drink at all, lighting candles, and playing her favorite crime podcast so she can relax when she comes home from work. She even asked me to join her on the last bath. She said she was glad we were working on things. No promises, but we'll keep working together and see what happens. I obviously fucked up here. I'm still trying to fix it, and I'm hopeful. It's not all unicorns and rainbows, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to repair and rebuild what I ruined. If it ends up not working, then I'll know it's because I was a big ass who didn't properly communicate and didn't keep his mouth shut. Next interesting story, I, 36F, just found out that my husband, 43M, was married when we started dating / had a child. What in the world do I do with this info? My husband and I have been married for 4 years. We have a child together. Long story short, I recently found out that my husband was not only married when we started dating, but his divorce wasn't actually finalized until our son was almost 6 months old. This is eating me alive, and I desperately need advice. I know this story sounds weird AF, but 6 years ago I started dating this guy. He was from elsewhere, but he was in my town for a year-long military assignment. He told me he had a horrible ex-wife who cheated on him for over half of their 10-year-long marriage. I felt so bad for him, and all of his friends and family members corroborated his story and told me how great he was and how awful she was, etc. This guy moved in with me very quickly because his room on base was super disgusting and moldy, and despite being on the maneuvering, I ended up getting pregnant, and he proposed a few months later. It all happened super fast, but I was wildly in love and didn't think anything was wrong with my happy little family until one day, out of the total blue, I received a Facebook message from his ex-wife, calling me a homewrecker and calling my newborn son a bastard. I was so confused. This guy was definitely not married when we started dating, or so I thought. I never replied to her message, but I confronted then fiancé about it, and he assured me that she's crazy and she's the one who had cheated on him, etc. Again, all his friends and his mother verified his story, saying his ex-wife was the cheater and their marriage was 100% over when he and I got together. So anyway, flash forward to a couple months ago. Hubby and I just celebrated 4 years of marriage, and I thought everything was great. I love the life that we have built together, and I had entirely forgotten about the ex-wife thing. One day out of the total blue, I had this weird feeling that I should check her Facebook page. Again, it had been years since I had even thought about this woman, and I have no idea what compelled me to check her page. I guess women are crazy. So anyway, I went to her page, and several months before, she had written this awful, scathing post about me, calling me and my son all kinds of very nasty names and saying that soon my husband is going to do to me what he did to her. BC, he's a narcissist who doesn't care who he hurts. I sent her a message saying I was so sorry that she misunderstood what happened, but I was certainly not a homewrecker and my precious son is definitely not a bastard, and I asked her to please take down the post. She responded, "No, leave me alone." And I said I'm not super inclined to do that unless you remove this unfairly defamatory post. Again, I'm so sorry for any misunderstanding, but he and I didn't start dating until date. Much to my shock and dismay, she replied with lots and lots of proof that they were indeed still married at that time. I started digging and found his divorce record. It does say that he was not legally divorced until our son was nearly 6 months old. I guess I now understand why he wanted a 2-year-long engagement. So anyway, what in the hell do I do with this info now? If I confront him about it, he will obviously know the info came from her and he will be angry with me for messaging her. I have been trying to pretend like I don't know and that everything is fine, but this is eating me alive. He has obviously lied to me about this before repeatedly and to my face, so if I confront him I feel like he's going to lie to me again. I now can't trust him. I don't think he's lied to me about anything else, but if he would lie about this, what else would he lie about? This is a big lie. I do now worry that he will do the same thing to me, like his ex-wife's post said. I do also think there could be probably is a lot more to the story. Maybe she did cheat first, But even if she did, and even if him getting with me was retaliation for her actions, I'm not at all sure that would be enough for me to trust him again moving forward. This is just over, right? How to get past this at all. I have always told my friends to never date a cheater. BC, how you get them is how you lose them. Comments, whether the ex cheated first or not, him not taking accountability and straight up flipping the scenario and saying his ex was crazy and she cheated is a red flag. People make mistakes, but not having accountability means they're still a shitty person. Let him be mad. He doesn't have a right to be angry that you discovered the truth, no matter how it happened. That's on him for lying and hiding it. It's vital to have proof your marriage was even legal. Now what I can tell you is that divorces sometimes take a really long time, especially if kids are involved. But he has a kid he already abandoned. I think her warnings to you are valid. It's very likely you and your sweet boy will be his next victims, so please get a good lawyer and get your ducks in a row. Also, if he's military, they'll be very interested to know all of this. Adultery is a really big deal in all branches. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers by the end of October. Love you.